Good morning to all. Let me continue and I'll also finish this essay in this session. What students learned in the last session, they can recall and recalled. They could be recalled and understood how Mill climbed that society could impose its influence on an individual. They would be recalled the independent of utility that was in the largest sense was the permanent interest of man as a progressive being. They recognized how person may cause evil to others not only by his actions but by his inactions, and in either case is justly responsible to them for the consequences. So, in this session, what are the objectives students are going to read or continue the essay? To enable students to know what women liberty comprises according to Mill, to enable them to recognize religion, the most powerful of the elements which have entered into the formation of moral being, to enable them to know Mill's strong aversion to conformity that has played an important role in this essay. Let me continue the essay. Mill claims that an individual is affecting himself for whatever reasons and may affect others through himself, and which may be grounded on this contingency will receive consideration in the sequel. This then is the appropriate region of women liberty. Sometimes individual who is also involving some evil activities, he will be affected himself. But in some other situations, he will also involve some negative aspects or activities that will create a problem to the others. This is also important, maybe grounded on this contingency. So this is then is the appropriate region of human liberty. So if we give the human liberty, because all people are not alike, there are the differences among them, as the father of psychology Sigmund Freud says or tells that there is a lot of individual differences among people. That is why some of the people who want to assist and also say do good things for the society, but some people don't want that. Here J.S. Mill believes women liberty comprises, what are the important elements women liberty involves or incorporates. The first one, the inward domain of consciousness. Any person who will think and also makes introspection himself. It is the liberty of the most comprehensive sense. It is not a very concise sense, it is a very comprehensive sense. Liberty of thought. How a person who is thinking, he has such a liberty even in his thinking and also expressing his feelings, and he has absolute, exact, and complete freedom of opinion and sentiment on all subjects, practical or speculative or scientific, moral or theological. Whatever the things that have been taught by a person in his mind, in his inward domain consciousness, regarding scientific, moral or theological, and whatever the disciplines, he has a absolute freedom. The second one is liberty of thought and feeling. from which it is impossible to separate the cognitive liberty of speaking and of writing. While writing and speaking, any person who must have cognitive liberty, because his cognitive liberty of speaking and writing is not separable. That is why he must have thought and feeling in which he has absolute liberty. The third one is liberty of expressing and publishing opinion. Because in the democratic country, every person who has right to express his feelings and emotions and thoughts. But whatever he expresses or she expresses, that will not be published by any others. It is also a very important thing. It belongs to the conduct of an individual which concerns other people. If a person's ideas, thoughts are expressed in a positive way, that will be published by anybody. The another liberty is liberty of taste and pursuits. It is the framing and the plan of our life to suit our own character. So every person who is living in the society, he can lead his life according to his taste and pursuits. But while fulfilling his or her taste and pursuits, he must make a plan and frame some rules and regulations how to lead his life, which will be fruitful, comfortable, and also fulfilled his taste and pursuits. The last point is the liberty of individuals to join a collective group. It follows the liberty within the same limits of combination among individuals, freedom to unite for any purpose not involving harm to others, the persons combining being supposed to be of full age and not forced or deceived. So, every individual who wants to make any organization for the purpose of conducting welfare schemes for the society, so he must have the liberty to join in a collective group. But while joining any group, he must have his own purpose that is completely related to the idea of that organization or group, so that in this way he has the right of freedom to unite and involve in the uh, many good activities which are being used to the society. Through this, they will also do good activities. But his intention to give a problem or harm to the others is not entertained. The persons combining being supposed to be of full age are not forced or deceived. But any person who is not forcibly joined and he has not deceived any others. The engines of moral repression have been wielded more strenuously against divergence from the reigning opinion in self regarding than even in social matters. Even Milk believes that he has expressed ideas from the opposite of what society's instincts dictate. Society is based largely on the art of conformity in opinion and action, And Mill only sees the imposition of society on the individuals growing over time. Mill's strong aversion to conformity that has played an important role in this essay. His aversion is to the middle class, which he opines as the ultimate conformers. He believes that conformity is society's default, the easiest and hence the most popular action for citizens to take. In this essay, especially in the introduction on liberty, Mill's introduction is one of the most important parts of his essay, as it contains the basic structure of his argument as well as some of his major presuppositions. Mill describes civilization as a struggle between society and the individual, about which should have control over the individual's actions. Mill sees the world as tipping toward a balance in which society, through laws and public opinion, has far more power over the actions and thoughts of an individual than an individual has over himself. Mill rejects this status, arguing that societies should have control over only those actions that directly affect it, or those actions that harm some of its members. Mill argues that an individual harming himself or acting against his own good provides insufficient reason for others to interfere. Each essay will be a description of why this is the case. It is important to note that in rejecting social interference with individual thought and activity, Mill is not just writing about laws but also about moral reprobation. An individual or group cannot rightly punish a person's behavior by, for example, treating him as an enemy if his actions only affect himself. In rejecting the legitimacy of coercive opinion, Mill drastically broadens the scope of his claims. It is worth paying attention in later chapters to why Mill is so critical of public disapproval of behavior and to the avenues that Mill does leave open for people to express disapproval of actions they dislike. The idea of progress is integral to Mill's essay, and this chapter reflects a few of his ideas on the subject. Mill believes that individuals and society as a whole can improve themselves. Fitting with this idea, he considers different societies to exist on a clear hierarchy of value. Barbaric societies are childlike, without the necessary tools of self government. They must be governed like children so that they can eventually become capable of exercising their liberty. Yet, while Mill considers progress and civilizations to be definite goods, he also expresses concern that with progress comes conformity. In later chapters, he will try to show that such conformity could undermine further individual and social improvement. So, in this introduction, Mill explicitly calls as a justification of liberty utilitarian. In doing so, he says outright that his defense of liberty will not be based on natural rights such as those proposed by Locke, or on metaphysical claims such as those proposed by Kant. Rather, Mill bases his argument on what is best for mankind, and in doing so, suggests that his arguments will show the individual and social benefits of women liberty. In later chapters, it is worthwhile to examine when and how J.S. Mill makes broad utilitarian arguments for liberty, and to similarly look for instances when Mill resorts to non utilitarian arguments. So, in this way, let me conclude this essay on liberty. So, what is the learning outcome of this session? Students will be able to understand what human liberty comprises according to Mill. They will be recalled Mill's strong aversion to conformity that has played an important role in this essay. They will be recognized the religion, the most powerful of the elements which have entered into the formation of moral feeling. They will finally be able to know the various themes in the whole essay, that is, the struggle between liberty and authority, tyranny and of the majority, self regarding actions and autonomy, religion and liberty, coercion, society's obligation and danger in the government. Let me give you an assignment. Read the essay and summarize the ideas of Mill in the essay. What does human liberty comprise? Explain. Take down the highlighted points of the essay displayed in PPT, explain them in detail. Multiple choice questions. First one, Mill believes human liberty comprises, there are four choices: the outward domain of consciousness, the inward domain of consciousness, little domain of consciousness, simple domain of consciousness. Second one, liberty of expressing and publishing opinion belongs to the dash of an individual. Conduct, style, walk, thoughts. Third one, liberty of taste and pursuit is the framing and the plan of our dash to suit our own character, behavior, life, impression, ideas. Fourth one, Mill's strong aversion to dash that has played an important role in this system. Conformity, inferiority, scarcity, implore. Thank you.